What's up, retards? We are back with episode 2 of the CarTards podcast.
Meme review. CarTards.
When did this turn into PewDiePie?
It's not.
Okay.
We're just retards.
Okay, that's fair. So, we're back with episode 2, unfortunately for you, if you're watching this. But we do have some good topics today. So, the first on the docket is Teslas. So, obviously, Teslas are a great car. They've been around for a little while now, and people could consider them to be the best electric car available, the fastest electric car available.
Well, that's hands down.
And whatnot.
You got the P100 Ludicrous. P100D Ludicrous. The fucker goes 0 to 60 in 5 seconds? Not even.
Okay, that's not my point, but my point is that they have no soul. Like, if you look at a Tesla and you can seriously tell me that it has a soul inside it, there's no.
Can you define soul for
okay,
those of
well,
us
first of all,
that might not understand cars having souls?
So, a car, characteristics of it, like it handles
its personality.
Its general personality. They don't have one, and not to mention, you look at that front grille and tell me that it has a soul. There's no, it has nothing. Because it has no front grille, it has no smile. You can't look at it and tell me that it actually looks like a fun to drive car. Because it doesn't. Regardless of how it drives, it does not look like a fun to drive car. It looks like
it's all business. It's like the opposite of a mullet. It's business in the front, business in the back, business all the way through. Mustangs, business in the front, party in the back. That thing's tail happy as fuck, crowd killer.
Yeah.
Tesla,
but
straight faced. I'm gonna get you from point A to point B. I'm gonna make a bigger carbon footprint than a car out of the factory. But in the long run, you don't spend money on me on gas. You just spend it on electricity,
which is expensive as fuck.
30 cents a kilowatt hour. Or is it 3 cents?
I don't.
At the end of the day, EVs are awesome, but they're not there yet. In my opinion.
They're not quite. The battery technology is not.
It's on its way.
It's attempting to be on its way. I just don't think that the battery technology is ever going to get there unless they come out with something very brilliant,
it's gonna get there. I give
cheap
it
supercapacitors or something.
I give it 15 years before it's more reliable, or before it's at least twice as reliable. EVs right now are made for the person who lives within 5 miles of where they work. If your drive is less than 15 minutes, an EV is perfect for you. Yeah, but if you're like myself, I have to drive half an hour to 45 minutes to get to work. That's not great. That means I'm basically charging my car from dead every 2 days. Because those things have an average range of about 115 miles. If you look at all the EVs in general, I'm not talking about Teslas. Teslas are the outlier of that group. Their range is monstrous.
Yeah.
I'm talking if you throw in the Chevy Volt, Nissan Leaf, whatever else exists out there. I actually wrote a paper on this last year. I'll send it so Mark can link it to you.
So
I did a bunch of math.
I wrote papers on electric cars as well. I've literally every time I have an English paper or have to give a speech in front of anyone for a class, it's always about cars. And it's always has to do with electric cars because they're like, how can you change the world? And I'm like,
make the electric car better.
But seriously, electric cars, they just don't have the batteries are so not energy dense. You look at the energy density of gasoline versus a lithium ion battery, it's just not even close. And then you take into account the fact that lithium ion batteries, they don't like a large depth of charge. So if you discharge them all the way and recharge them over and over, that's what kills a lithium ion battery.
It's also leaving it plugged in all the time too, which most Tesla owners do. They get home and they leave it plugged in for 12 hours a day.
Actually, leaving a lithium battery plugged in isn't that bad because they don't start to have a memory like some older battery technologies like NiCads and stuff have. They don't really get that. So discharging them a tiny bit and recharging them doesn't really affect the battery, and that's basically
it's not the discharge and
doing.
Recharge. It's the leaving it on the charger for big chunks of time.
I mean, it just stops charging it at that point.
But it's still pulse it, you get a little current. Because if it stops charging, right, it's going to drop 1%, it's going to fill it right back up.
Yeah, which, from what I've heard, lithium batteries are fine with doing that. I don't know exactly what kind of lithium batteries Tesla uses, but
their batteries seem to stand the test of time. I mean, Teslas aren't half bad when it comes to EV. It's just everything else behind it.
Yeah.
And you're paying for that difference, too. You're spending $150,000 on a Tesla, but, like, you could go spend $30,000 on a Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, I've kind of looked into this. When you're talking raw carbon footprint, it's actually worse for the environment to buy a new Tesla than it is to just drive an old yet reliable car that runs well.
I actually made this point. You can buy a Mitsubishi, I want to say it's the Mirage. It's this
Is that the stupid looking one?
It's the little
they always
short,
come in like pink colors and they're really
the
annoying
little
looking.
shitty 3-cylinder Mitsubishi Mirage. Throughout the course of its life,
it's like the Metro Geo if the Metro Geo was made in the mid 2000s.
But no, hear me out. The Mitsubishi Mirage, throughout the course of its life, that's you're talking maintenance, repair, like tires, etc., gasoline, will have a smaller carbon footprint over the course of its life than a Tesla will right out of the factory. They always claim to be. I'm not hating on electric cars by any means, but this is the argument that your green signaling lunatic will say.
Every single one.
I'm saving the environment. I'm not burning gasoline. I'm not funding abusive business practices. It's great for the environment. It's like, no, your car right out of the factory, twice as much carbon footprint as a Mitsubishi Mirage. Over 150,000.
That's what most people don't realize is there's an actual carbon footprint with building a car. Or anything for that matter.
Resources, labor, factory. So they have to go get the raw elements for these batteries, which is destroying environments within itself. Just getting the lithium ions, everything else that goes in making a battery, extremely destructive to the planet. That's a rant for another day.
So we were originally talking about Teslas having no soul. I don't know. We somehow got on the EV, the gasoline thing, but yeah, Teslas have no soul. Because, like, come on, it's a
they don't make uptight noise. Businessman, right?
They don't make noise. It's like looking at a BMW and taking away everything that makes it a BMW and making it electric.
They're the butlers of the car world.
That's a Tesla.
They're the butlers of the car world.
Yeah,
butlers are just
there's nothing significant about them.
Like, butlers are super chill and all, but like they're at the end of the day they're just there, right? They don't very often make jokes. They don't often have much of a conversation unless asked. Right? Your EV, it's not going to make noise unless you want it to. Like, you honk the horn, it makes noise. You start it up, it doesn't make a fucking sound. It's a battery. It's an over-glorified golf cart. It doesn't make any noise.
The problem with EVs versus, like, so, like, the Formula E, the electric Formula cars, those are really cool and they sound pretty cool.
They sound mean as fuck.
There are some times where, like, they're spinning their tires and they sound like a vacuum cleaner and you're just like, this is stupid. But then other times you hear them go by and it's just like, it's a super cool sound. And like, if Teslas sounded like that, it'd be so cool. Like, but they don't.
The only time a Tesla makes noise, it's like with a golf cart. Like, when it's like running that motor's at full bore, which is like, what, 30,000 RPM for those electric motors.
I don't know what those
it's kind of ridiculous, but they just make this little just like... They don't make any fun noises. There's no engine warble. There's no exhaust note. It's just annoying electric whining.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it's because of the motor they use. The 3-phase induction motor is just really quiet. But, like, come on, there's got to be something. You got to hop it up somehow. I saw if you watch that Netflix show, the Netflix original, what's it called? It's The Fastest Car.
Yeah.
It's a really shitty show, but it's really fun to watch, just because the people are really dumb. There was an electric car in one of them. It was an electric Datsun, I believe, and
why would you do that to a Datsun?
it was actually pretty cool.
I'm distraught.
Like, when he launched and, like, going down the drag strip, he had, like, his motor was a generator from something else, and because his motor was like a generator, it just flew sparks everywhere because it was like a brushed motor, and so you just saw sparks going everywhere all the way down the track, and it was really cool looking and it sounded pretty cool, but, like, it was also super dangerous.
But at the end of the day, you're just drag racing a golf cart.
Yeah. And I guess it's not really that much more dangerous to have like sparks coming out of the car than it is like when you think about really fast drag cars. When you think about like really fast drag cars, like
throwing flames,
yeah, like a Top Fuel dragster,
burning
just like
oil, tires, everything, just the noise.
Yeah, because those are probably 1,000 times less safe than just sparks coming out of an electric motor.
There's really nothing quite like sitting behind your axle and your differential that just puts the fear of God in you. Have you seen those pictures of like the 40s and the 50s where these dudes straight up sat with the rear end like right in their lap?
Yeah.
Like if that shit shatters, you're dead. Like
Oh, yeah,
the entire bottom half of your body is gonna disappear.
Yeah, and that's when they still had like, oh man, yeah, that'd be terrifying.
Those are some ballsy motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, like racing in old times is just like terrifying to me. Like thinking about
like those guys are pioneers though.
Yeah.
I mean, someone had
Mickey,
to...
like Mickey Thompson. Have you heard the stories of Mickey Thompson? He's like just such a badass.
Those dudes had to crawl over burning charcoal before we could walk on Legos.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like.
That's a pretty good analogy. I like that analogy. Burning charcoal and Legos.
Yeah. One of them is definitely life-threatening, and one is a little annoying.
I never understood. I think it's just because I walked on Legos so much as a kid that my feet are now like immune to it.
Yeah, I never
also
got
like
that either.
My backyard. We had a walnut tree, and the squirrels would eat the walnuts, and the walnut shells would be like broken, and you just walk across it and it just stabs the shit out of your foot. Way worse than a Lego, and I think I just got used to that, and it's like
half my backyard used to be really just pointy, sharp rocks. And it's like me and my brother would just go out there for like half an hour at a time, so you could walk the farthest before we broke down and ran back. And I mean that makes you immune to Legos. But like goat heads, fuck goat heads. That shit'll get in your foot.
Goat heads are awful.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you don't know what goat heads are, or you've never
think of
had them,
Satan incarnate inside of your foot.
It's like I guess a more common thing to call them is puncture vine or puncture weeds. I don't know.
It's boring as fuck.
Yeah, but goat heads are literally, so if you don't know what a goat head is, search it up. They're probably the worst thing in existence.
They murder bike tires, your feet, your hands. If it'll touch it, it'll probably kill it.
Yeah, no, it's they have these stupid little, and the worst part about goat heads is that you kill them and they come back.
They come
worse.
back.
They come back worse.
It's like shaving chest hair.
If you spray them,
you shave your chest hair, that shit comes back twice as thick.
Yeah, no, if you spray them, so spraying the seeds doesn't kill the seeds, and the seeds can lie dormant up to 3 years until shit's good for them to grow, and they'll grow in almost anything. They don't need much water, but they're super fragile, so if it gets cold or if you like cut the top off of them, they'll just die, but like they just come back and they grow so fast too. They're one of the fastest growing weeds I've ever seen. Just because you'll walk out like one day and you'll see one and you'll be like, oh, I'll pick it tomorrow. And then the next day it's just like already gone to seed.
Yeah,
it's
like
4 feet wide. Oh.
Yeah, goat heads fucking suck.
Yeah, and yeah, you can try spraying them, burning them, anything. They're bad. They're bad. And they get in your car tires too. Oh. If you roll onto them, they'll get and they just spread everywhere. There's the link to Cars. I was looking for a link to Cars, guys. I know this is a car podcast.
You have to remember we're fucking retarded.
Yeah. So I was trying to link it somehow, and then I remembered. I knew it was there, guys. Just
between the two of us on a good day, we share about 20 brain cells.
Don't zone out yet. Don't click off this video, please. We need the views. So yeah. Anyway. So next up, we're talking about the new Corvette colors. So the new Corvette comes in like 12 different colors, and I don't like any of them.
What is there one? Like also orange? No, that's the Pixel 4. But no, I mean, we talked about the new mid-engine Corvette a little bit last time.
Yeah, I don't like that it's a mid-engine.
I
think that it's just gonna be very, very, like, just gonna tons of people just spinning into walls. Because the problem with a mid-engine car is that there's so much inertia in the rear that if it starts to spin, it's game over.
Like, just think of it as a Porsche with a V8, but longer and American.
Yeah,
That's all it's gonna.
I mean, it looks badass.
Oh,
I'm gonna say that
amazing
it looks
fuck.
badass. But like, I don't know. People have proven that you can have a front engine rear wheel drive car that performs really well, like the Dodge Viper ACR.
Oh,
that thing was
God.
a fucking monster.
That thing was legendary. I mean, that was for a while the quintessential American supercar.
Yeah, it was a fucking. So, the only color of the new C8 I really like is the Long Beach, the Zeus Bronze Metallic. That one's really pretty to me because it's like
It looks like a dark brown.
kind of a charcoal-ish color. The Shadow Gray Metallic is okay, but I think they could have done a little more with that. But there's so many.
I don't know. The blue metallic. I
There's-
like the blue metallic. It's a dark navy blue, but like
the Elkhart Lake.
yeah. I'm not even gonna call them by
that
their.
one's okay.
I'm not gonna call them by their silly GM names. I'm gonna say what they are.
I mean, yeah, I like that alright.
Long Beach red metallic tricoat though. What the fuck does
Okay,
that say?
tricoats are cool.
Yeah,
Tricoats are cool. That's what my Mazda came in originally. It was called Vintage Red Tricoat, and it was 3 different things. Does it have? Okay, yeah, it does have. So what's cool about this is the reason a red metallic has to be a tricoat is because, and I learned about this summer when I was painting my car, is because if you try and put metal flake or pearl or anything in a red paint, the red will just cover it.
Oh,
You
wow.
won't see it. So you have to do it in a 3-stage process. And so you have to have, you have your primer, and you have to put a base color coat, and then you have to put another color, or like a few base color coats, and then you have to put another coat set with some metal flake, and then you have to do a clear coat with metal flake, and then you have to do another base clear coat on top of that.
Huh.
So it's really, and it makes it
It
really
turns into
beautiful.
an ogre. Ogres have layers.
Ogres have layers.
The
Yes.
Corvette has layers. Thus, the Corvette is an ogre.
I just really don't like the blue and the yellow though.
The yellow.
The yellow is trying too hard to be a Lamborghini color
Yeah,
or a Ferrari color. It
it's
looks
that
like,
weird
it looks like a
shitty
Ferrari.
spot between like neon green yellow and like slime green Lamborghini.
Yeah, and they were trying to make it their own yellow, and it just looks like shit. Like, either go full on for like the Lamborghini or Ferrari yellow, or
It almost looks
make
like,
something that's not
that
yellow.
looks like a knockoff Porsche yellow too. Like it just looks
it
gross.
looks so bad. And the blue just looks like a pastel color. It looks like I took a pastel marker and just drew all over it.
But, like, I'm also not a fan of light blue though. Like if I'm gonna go blue, it's gonna be like dark.
Yeah,
navy blue.
light blues never look good on cars.
No.
Like the fucking Subaru Crosstreks with the
no.
light blue. I
That-
hate those. I hate
Like,
the Subaru
as
colors that are
amazing as the
pastel.
Crosstrek is, that color just ruins it. It makes it look like a fucking Volkswagen Bug.
There's also like the
Colors.
there's also like the brown Crosstrek color, and like they have so many ugly Crosstrek
But
colors
what
because
about
they're like
what about
pastels.
that shitty tan color on the new Tacoma? Have you seen that one? The one that almost looks like fucking sand.
Mm.
That's horrible.
It wouldn't look dirty because it would always look dirty though.
Yeah, but like it just looks bad. I'll find you a picture. I'll find you a picture.
Oh, we'll put that up on the screen for you
Yeah,
guys.
we'll have to add
Maybe.
a lot of visuals to this shit.
Honestly, I'm gonna add the visual, and I'm not gonna do it because I won't spend the time.
Like this color.
What timestamp is this?
We're 20 minutes
1846.
in. We're
So
big chillin'.
I'm just gonna write that down right now.
You know, I'm talking like this garbage color, like Dune. I think they call it Dune.
So
Like it's awful.
yeah, it would look okay for like a pre-runner.
Yeah.
It would look okay for that, I think, but not for really like driving it around or using it as a normal like everyday daily driver truck. Yeah, it's not very good because it's kind of pastel-y. Oh, your little pop-up camera.
Yeah, dude. Sorry. Don't mean to flex. Tangent. Go.
Tangent.
No. Get on topic.
Oh, what
You were
Oh
talking.
yeah, the C8 colors.
Yeah.
So the C like they're all not that great, and I don't know. I really there are like Corvettes used to be so beautiful, like the C1, C2. They're just beautiful cars, especially like a C1 in cream white and red.
Oh yeah, classic.
It's so like it is. When you think about like a classic car, if you don't think about that, there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a beautiful classic color.
It's undeniably one of the best looking cars ever made.
Yeah.
Granted, the C1 Corvette was kind of weak when it came out. It was Chevy's response to the Ford Thunderbird, if I remember correctly. Yeah, a GT class.
Yeah.
The Thunderbird used to be dope, but Ford doesn't make it anymore because Ford's stupid.
Yeah, and when they tried to reprise it, they just did a really shitty job, and they made it into a.
They made it into a muscle car almost. Like it had like almost muscle car proportions. But like
yeah, but they were trying to make it look like a old Thunderbird mixed with a new Thunderbird. They were trying to do what they did with the Mustang.
Like it almost looked like a Chevy Impala Super Sport, but Ford Thunderbird.
Yeah,
but shittier.
Yeah, and they were trying to do what they did with the Mustang, where they took the old and they kind of made it like newer and sleeker, but it just looked like shit.
They just fucked it up.
Yeah,
like Ford usually does.
Yeah. Ford, I love you, but like, come on, get your shit together.
Bring cars back. Fuck SUVs. Bring cars back.
Honestly, nobody's making fucking car like Mitsubishi.
All they have
the
is
new Eclipse.
Oh my god!
Every time a new like CUV or SUV comes out, I get pissed off because
they're just rebranding the same shit they have. Like the new Blazer, the new Chevy Blazer, it's okay, but they already Chevy and GM have 4 different SUVs already.
Yeah,
and that's effectively all they're selling. They have the Camaro, which they're gonna kill off in a couple years because Chevy's fucking stupid like that. Yeah. Like Chevy, what the fuck?
So think about this: the Viper's dead. The
Camaro's about to die.
The Camaro's about to die.
The Bug is dead. The Beetle's dead.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
I like the new ones. The new ones are okay looking. Anyway,
I mean,
fun cars are dying.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, oh my god, what can you buy now? I guess you could buy a Tesla Model 3 Performance. That's kind of peppy. You can't.
You can buy a WRX. I mean, but that's still kind of a family car.
But the new
now.
WRXs look like shit.
They look like legacies.
They look like a Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
They honestly look like a Toyota Camry with a hood scoop. Like
I want to say,
I wouldn't if you had them side by side. I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. If I want to
say it was former Motor Trend analyst Jason Camisa who said that in an Instagram post. If you don't follow Jason Camisa on Instagram, you should. He's amazing. He's hilarious. He does amazing reviews.
That the new WRX looks like a
there we go.
Looks like a Camry.
Yeah, literally quote from my boy Jason Camisa. I actually thought, why did someone Photoshop a BMW girl on a Corolla for the fucking WRX?
That's a M.
Oh, that's the M2 Coupe. Never mind. I'm stupid.
You're a plebe.
I was on the right track. You should give my boy Jason Camisa a holler though. He's fucking dope.
Anyway, yeah. So the new WRXs look like a fucking Camry. They're still fast, don't get me wrong, but they're getting rid of the manuals in them, so you can.
They're getting rid of the manual?
No, I'm just like I'm expecting them to get rid of the manual soon. Like I don't think it'll stay.
If they do that, I'm just gonna like cry into my pillow, like straight up.
Yeah.
Save the manuals, people. Hashtag save the manuals.
Yeah. Well, and yeah. So like nobody. And Ford, Ford is still kind of making like the RS, but it has head gasket issues.
But they don't even make that in America anymore. It's not an option in North America. They don't sell
for this year.
They don't sell them in America.
They're only. I didn't even hear about that.
They're only an EU thing right now.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Because I know you like, the 2018. I know you could buy the 2018 RS. You could buy here.
That's the last model year you can buy in America.
So shitty.
And the freaking North America in general.
That's so shitty.
Because apparently some motherfucking soccer mom said SUVs are the best, cars suck. And now everyone has to pay the fucking price. It's like the teacher punishing everyone in class when one retard like shoots a rubber band at her.
Yeah, I don't know why. Because Ford has like 8 SUVs. They have the Excursion, the Explorer,
the Escape,
and the Explorer and the Escape are exactly the same now. And the Edge is probably exactly the same too. They're just like shorter models.
There's a new one too. I can't remember what it's called, but it's dope as fuck.
Yeah, well, and like the new Explorer has a transverse axis V6, just like the Escapes do. Or just like the Escapes from like a couple years ago did. So they're just downsizing shit and making it worse. I literally had to drive one of the Explorers with the transverse V6, and I was like, this is the worst thing in the world. I hate this.
Yeah, so here we go. Ford Explorer, Ford Edge, Ford EcoSport. That's the one I'm thinking of. I think that thing's dumb as shit. Ford Escape, Ford Expedition, the Ford Flex. Ford Flex. If anyone's watched, oh god, what's that movie called? Stepdaddy or something with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg? My boy Willie Ferrell's got a Ford Flex in that movie. It's fucking hilarious. The Ford Expedition Max, and if you want to keep going, there's still.
Wait, how many things have Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell's like done together? I feel like they've done a bunch of movies together because they did
Daddy's
the
Home.
Other Guys.
Daddy's Home.
They did The Other Guys. Mm-hmm. Right? That was Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
I don't think Mark Wahlberg was in The Other Guys. I'm gonna put up right now.
I might be thinking of someone else.
I want to say it was the same guy he did Talladega Nights with. No, it is Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so they've like, they must be like, I mean, they're obviously a good duo when they're on film together. But
yeah.
They must like filming with each other.
Oh, they gotta be best buds.
At this point, like, what else would they be? But
they're gay for each other.
Oh god, don't say that directly into the mic. I have to censor that now, Jacob.
No, you don't.
God damn it.
It's 2019, Mark. Be more open.
You're right.
Moving on.
That's not.
Fuck you, Ford.
Yeah, honestly, like.
Fuck.
Can I hand me that?
Yeah. Gamer juice.
Yeah. Get your gamer.
Sponsored by water. Drink up. That was disgusting.
For those of you that had to hear that, I'm sorry.
Thanks for sticking around this long. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's been half an hour now. So, yeah. So, half of these things I don't want to talk about. But we can talk about the...
I actually have a topic I want to talk about a little bit.
All right, well, what is that?
Boomer drivers. Now, when I say boomer, I mean anyone between, like, I'm not talking, like, actual years of baby boomers, but, like, right now, young people call anyone, like, above the age of 30 boomers. Because they don't like fun. Boomers don't like fun, right? So I'm on my way up to Mark's place where we record the podcast, and I'm stuck behind some boomer who, it's raining a little bit on the way. It hadn't turned to snow yet, but it was raining.
Yet.
And this boomer is going 50 and a 65 because there's a little drizzle of rain. Right? And boomers, like, I don't know what it is about when you turn, like, when you get into your mid to late 30s, but, like, you become a scared driver. You're scared of road conditions. You're scared of turns. You're scared of bumps. You're scared of anything that falls from the sky. You're even scared of clouds. Like, you see a shadow move and you, like, slam on the brakes. Boomers are dangerous drivers. They see a turn coming up, they're like, oh, it's just a little turn. Better slow down 10 miles an hour so I don't go careening off the road into this little open field.
Did you know that more boomers get in accidents because of texting and driving than
of course they
younger
do.
people?
My dad's 52 years old. All he does is text and drive.
They can't. So it's actually pretty funny. Once you start texting and driving early, it's harder to stop. And so the people that were like distracted driving, and so the people, like, they think they're good enough to do it, but they can't, and they just get worse and worse, and then they get in more and more.
See, that's why we gotta save the manuals. When you're driving manual, you can't text and drive. You need both your hands. You need both your feet. You can't do shit. You gotta focus on the road 24/7, bud. But no, like, I mean, when I was 10, 12 years old, my dad would text and drive, like, all the time. Like,
I know people
grab his phone out of his hand and tell him, "Fuck you, drive."
I know my one of my friends, growing up, his dad would text and drive awful, like, really bad. Like, he'd literally text and drive on a flip phone and steer with his knees.
On a flip phone, where you gotta, like, push the button 3 times to get a letter? Fuck that. You're stupid.
It was pretty funny. Like, I was like, how the fuck does he do that? And he just steers with his knees. What?
I mean, like, people who are proficient at driving, or not I'm not gonna condone texting and driving at all. I'm just going off the wrong way. People who are proficient texting like the old school way, when it was just the like alphanumeric straight up on the number pad, like people who are proficient at that, fucking awesome. I can't do that fast enough. It takes me 20 minutes to write out two sentences.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a privileged
like,
little zoomer out here.
I can't if you put me in a room with a
Analog clock?
a
a rotary phone?
rotary phone. I don't know how to use it. No,
it's not that hard.
No, I know how to use it. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
The boomers are always like, huh, put a millennial in a room with a rotary phone and I don't know, something
and watch
else.
them shit their pants. Okay, put a boomer in a room with any technology made after 2005 and watch them Google, dear Google, please and thank you, how to make this black machine work. Thank you.
My mom is like just good enough with the computer to be dangerous, and so is my roommate.
Mm-hmm.
My roommate is like, because he was running out of space on his hard drive, and so he copied his whole like program files folder. Like, he copied his whole hard drive and just copied it over and just started copying shit over, like his game folders, his what else did he do? Oh, he literally copied a folder named drivers on his hard drive onto another one, and then his computer just like stopped working, and I'm like, Ryan, you fucking retard.
You see, you can know enough to be dangerous enough to shoot yourself in the foot. It's like gun safety. You can know how to use a gun. You can still shoot yourself in the foot if you're not proficient. I mean, there's a lot of amazing technology illiteracy that exists, not just among boomers, but like we're talking like millennials, Gen Z.
Technology literacy, I feel like it should be.
It needs to be taught
class. More. Yeah.
Because I mean, like when we were in elementary school, middle school, I had a computer class. I can't remember what it was called. It had a very specific name, but like we learned how to use Word and Excel. And Sketchpad. We even learned how to use GIMP a little bit. It was incredible. They had us doing some basic Photoshop stuff. I forgot how to do most of that now. I'm a master at Word though. But I mean, they taught us some technology literacy. I mean, I could tell you what a hard drive was when I was, I don't know, 10, 12 years old. And like my parents were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fucking gaming. Shut up. I'm doing computer stuff."
Gaming.
I'm gaming. But no, I mean, like, over the summer, my parents wanted to buy a new laptop. And so they're like, hey, what's a decent looking laptop? I'm like, okay, you're looking for Intel Core i5, i5 or higher,
right.
8 gigabytes of RAM, terabyte of storage space. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, wow, I'll go do this for you.
Yeah, so my Surface Pro, which is what we're recording this on, by the way.
Not sponsored by Microsoft.
Only has 4 gigabytes of RAM. And it gets really awful when you actually start to try and use it for something.
You need at least 12 gigabytes of RAM to run Chrome at this point. It's 2019.
Yeah, it's pretty...
My phone has more RAM than your computer does.
My old phone, my OnePlus 3...
Not sponsored by OnePlus.
My OnePlus 3 had 6 gigs of RAM. It had more RAM than my computer did.
I think my phone has 12 gigs of RAM.
Because it was a 3 and I never unlocked it, it could only use 4 of the 6 gigs of RAM.
That's painful.
It made me so angry because it would just close apps.
That's awful. But no, I mean, like, my phone's got 256 gigs onboard storage, 12 gigs of RAM. This thing's a monster. But, like, some computers, like, they're still struggling to deal with, like, Google Chrome. You need at least 8 gigabytes of RAM in a computer in 2019. Like, 8 is a bare minimum. 6, you might be able to scrape by if you're like 80.
Probably scrape by.
Like, if you're 65, 80, if you're 65 and up, you only need 6 to 8 gigs of RAM. Like, if you want to do anything remotely CPU intensive, or even if you're using like an APU on like most laptops, you need 12 gigabytes of RAM. It's just annoying. It's like power creep.
My desktop has 16, and that's like all I use now.
Yeah.
Because my Surface is just, and my old laptop has 8 gigs of RAM, and it's got like, it's nice. It's so old though. Everything's so old on that laptop, so it just can't.
It's too old to handle it.
Yeah.
Like my desktop that I have in my dorm room, it's got a Core i7 8700. Really wish I would have gone with the 8700K so I can overclock it. It's got 24 gigabytes of RAM. It's got a GTX 1070 in it. I mean, the thing's a monster. But Chrome still kind of makes it poops the pants every now and then because it's fucking Chrome.
Chrome, yeah. Honestly, every time I play games or do anything, I have to just exit out of Chrome because it's like
Chrome eats so much processing power. Like half the time, it's not because your processor shit; it's because you don't have enough available RAM.
Yeah.
Like when I run a game, it takes at most 30% of my RAM. If I have Chrome open, it jumps up to 60% of my RAM.
Yeah, Chrome is
because
ridiculous.
Chrome is a doo-doo butt cheeks.
It's like, Chrome has all my stored passwords.
Like as amazing as Chrome is, it's probably one of the best web browsers out there if you don't care about your privacy.
Yeah.
But like, it just murders computers.
Yeah.
If it's old enough, it's kind of painful.
Yeah, but like Chrome is like everything Google related, like YouTube is so well set up on Chrome. It works so well. It's so nice.
And then like certain websites too, like if you want to run a website properly, you need to run Chrome. Explorer is a joke. Edge is a joke. Oh, Edge isn't too bad. It's got the screen draw. That's about it.
Firefox is pretty good.
is
Opera
decent.
is pretty good.
Safari is actually not half bad, but it's not Chrome.
Yeah, it's an Apple.
And then I use like DuckDuckGo and Brave mostly because I kind of care about my privacy online. So like Brave, I just have Chrome run through Brave and I just block cross-site data tracking and all that shit. Like I just like look at the pop-ups that's like processes blocked that like accesses your data. It's like 30, 40 just for doing a single Google search. It's kind of scary.
It is scary. Yep, I do not like people spying on me, but like I've just gotten to the point where it's like,
fuck
whatever,
you, Russia.
It's gonna happen.
I can hear your shit, Russia. Fuck you.
Yeah. So something that I kind of wanted to talk about was car consistency and predictability. These days there are a lot of very predictable cars, which I like. Because you know exactly what they're gonna do, you know exactly how they're gonna handle in a turn every time. But like, you know, you go back 30, 40 years ago, you have things like in rally, you have the Lancia Stratos, which is literally the
Legendary
most unpredictable car ever. I don't know how anyone drove that because it's the most unpredictable.
There's a reason they're pro rally drivers. I mean, you need the reaction time of God, the understanding of your car like maxed out. Like if it could be sneak 100, it'd be like knowledge 100 or prediction 100 for driving rally cars.
They're so fucking unpredictable. There are some rally cars that are fine, but then there are some that are just god awful.
Like easy to drive rally cars, ideally, are like Subarus.
Yeah.
Maybe an Audi.
Most minis, front wheel drive cars are very predictable in
They
rally.
just don't rotate.
Yeah.
That's their only problem.
Other than, I mean, you just handbrake all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. But like still.
Yeah. No, my autocross car, which you guys have seen, maybe if you look at the channel, you go check out my autocross videos. That thing is hella predictable. You know, I know exactly what it's going to do almost every single time because I've got it set up to the point where everything just does exactly what I want it to. And on tarmac, it is very, very predictable because it just, you know, front wheel drive, turbo, it just, you know, does exactly what I tell it to do. If I oversteer, I just put my foot down on the throttle. If I understeer, I just press on the brake. It's that
watch
easy.
out for liftoff oversteer though, because that shit's scary.
Or
does the Mazda have that problem?
Really? Like,
Because like liftoff oversteer is fucking terrifying.
Liftoff. So, I mean, yeah, if I go like straight from the gas to the brake and I start to brake, it'll start to oversteer, but I can correct it just by pressing back on the gas.
Yeah, that's just the nature of front wheel. I mean, it's just pulling the car. There's none of that pushing horse shit that gets unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like Mustang, crowd killer, because all it does is push.
Yep. And, well, Mustangs are really bad because they still had...
They have no weight over the rear tires.
Well, and it's not even that, it's that, like, the newer ones are getting better just because they have live axles.
Yeah.
The solid axles just make them god-awful to drive.
Yeah. Might as well be like driving a truck at that point.
I mean, yeah, it's like driving an old muscle car. Like you're not gonna be able to control it very well.
You can't drift those. Don't try.
Unless you have done a ton of work on it and you know exactly how to drive it, you're just gonna spin it. Unless you're doing a static burnout. I think that's the reason my dad drag races is because he doesn't
have to turn.
Yeah, he does not like turning things.
Hey man, drag race is just a fast car, but any other racing, fast driver, like straight up.
I mean, in drag racing, you have to have a fast reaction time.
Yeah, but 90% of the driving, car. You just put your foot down and you shift.
Yeah. But
there's really no other thought besides it. Like, the only thought that goes into drag racing is your launch.
Also, if you do bracket
And the
racing,
setup.
if you do bracket racing, that's a little different.
Yeah, if you're racing for ET or
so like
or shooting for times.
Because say you put your dial in a little conservative or a little, so your dial in is a little higher than your car can actually run. So you get in a little bit different group. You're way ahead of somebody else. You have to slow down and let them catch up to you. Because if you beat them and like go out of your dial-in, you're fucked.
Yeah, because you're racing to stay above a certain time, depending on the drag race, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
you gotta stay within your bracket limit.
Yeah.
I guess.
So if you're slower than your dial-in, that's fine. But if you're faster than your dial-in, the other person loses, even if you win.
Yeah, if you win the race, but you're too fast, you can lose.
Yeah. Bracket racing is kind of interesting. It's also a little bit political, but that's fine.
But that's just the way she goes. I mean, sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't.
Yeah.
Trailer Park Boys. Old man on the floor. What are you doing? Yes, there's gamers partying around us.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking gamers.
It's fine. It's fine.
The DUI people.
Just ruin the audio.
We're already in an echoey room, bro. It's
Shut
too
up.
late.
Shut up! I put up a blanket. God.
You tried? Yeah, you tried. It's already too late.
It's yeah, no. There's a reason the first episode began with "Welcome to this shitty podcast."
Yeah, we're literally operating off of whatever Mark paid for this microphone.
And that was like 6 years ago.
And like my gas money. That's our entire budget is gas money in this microphone.
Yeah, and that's like out of pocket.
Yeah.
We don't get paid for this shit.
We're just fucking around. We're bored as fuck.
Yeah. It's called being in college and
broke boy hours.
Not wanting to do homework.
Or not having homework.
I just don't want to do homework. I have a lot of homework. I just
well, that's because you're going for a nerd degree. I'm out here going out here for a brain dead criminal justice degree. I don't have homework.
Do you actually not?
I think I have homework a maximum of an hour a week. Maybe 2. Unless I have a paper. I have papers due every other week for a class, and that's like 3 hours of work, tops. Like, I cranked out a paper 3 hours before it was due, got a 98% on it. And he said, this was very well thought out. I can tell you took some time on this. I'm like, haha, get fucked, idiot. No, you can't.
Dude, I wrote a paper for my philosophy class the other day. And like, I bullshitted the whole thing. It was so bad. But I was really hoping he would find it to be like the sappy kind of thing that he likes. That like, he likes to read. Mm-hmm. And I was really banking on that. And he didn't give me like a bad grade, but he didn't give me 100%.
Would you get like a 85?
I don't remember.
C minus or C plus B minus?
I think it was in the A range technically, but I was really expecting him to give me 100.
If you have an A on a paper, don't be disappointed. That's an A.
I know.
C's get degrees out here, bud.
But usually when I bullshit a paper that bad, they like it and they really like it, and I get comments back saying, "I loved this paper," and I'm just like,
well, that's the nice part about a philosophy class. I mean, you can almost make any claim you want because it's a philosophy class. It's your own personal philosophy. What are they going to tell you? Your thinking's wrong. The way you think is philosophically wrong. Fuck you.
Well,
no,
I had to.
It's philosophy.
I had to write a paper on like the allegory of the cave.
Ooh, okay, deep shit. What's that? My boy Aristotle.
It was either Plato or Aristotle.
It's one of those Greek dudes. They're gamers. Their brains are huge.
I know it wasn't Socrates. But I know it was either Plato or Aristotle. Yeah. I think it was Plato. It was Plato. Plato's allegory of the cave, right?
It's one of those two. I mean, I don't fucking know. I'm a criminal justice major. All I know is
Plato.
Is prison for bad people. Yes, gamer time.
Have you ever been to the Cottonwood prison?
I have. I actually took a Corrections in America class last year. We toured the Orofino prison and the Cottonwood prison.
I went to the Cottonwood prison for my ISEM this semester.
For your what?
My integrated seminar class. It was a single credit class. I had to go to the Cottonwood prison all day on a Friday.
That sucks.
It was kind of interesting.
I mean, Cottonwood's pretty laid back though.
It was.
Cottonwood's set up almost like a summer camp.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like,
that's just Idaho's Rider program.
Camp. Yeah.
Restrained jurisdiction. Wow, that is hard to say. But that means the judge keeps jurisdiction of the inmate in a state prison, and they're just there for 6 to 8 months of whether it be drug rehabilitation or rehabilitative thought to get them back in the workplace. Because like they have small drug offenses.
Yeah,
that's all the writer program is.
Most of them have like
they're non-violent.
I was told they had like small drug offenses or like they
non-violent
had,
offenses.
Yeah,
like it's like prison for not bad people, just people who fucked up a little bit.
Yeah,
and I think it's super cool. Like when my dad was working corrections, the writer program was one of his big topics. He loved the writer program.
I think it's a lot better than like sending them to a maximum security prison where all they learn is like hate for the system.
Mm-hmm. Like drug charges, they do need to be handled a little bit differently in the state of Idaho, but I think what we have right now is on the right path. Yeah. This just turned into a Law and Order discourse. Don't mind me, that's just me going full cop mode, but like people who get sent to IMSI.
Jacob is a pig, confirmed.
I am not a pig, okay, Colin Kaepernick. People who go to Idaho's maximum security prison for drug charges, it's the dumbest mistake the system can make.
Yeah. I mean, especially like weed.
It also depends on if it's a felony or not, though. Like felony drug charges.
Is felony like an amount? That's kind of how it's based.
It's an amount and it's number based. Like if you've been busted 3 times for X amount of marijuana, it turns into a felony. Like I want to say, like for DUIs in the state of Idaho, if you get 3 DUI charges, it turns into a felony on your 4th.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because they're misdemeanors anyway.
Yeah, misdemeanors will turn into felonies eventually.
Yeah,
but like they're also just straight up felonies like murder, grand theft auto, grand theft in general. I mean, that's just straight up fucking felony.
What's the difference between grand theft and petty theft, Jacob?
Grand theft is over 1,000. Petty theft is less than 1,000.
Like dollar amount?
Dollar amount.
Okay, so if something's worth over $1,000,
grand theft. As in grand, $1,000.
So does that mean if you steal a car that's only worth $250, is that still Grand Theft Auto, or is that just Theft Auto?
I don't know how that's classified. I think.
Did you know Grand Theft Auto was actually a term coined when people still rode horses?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Autonomous movement, I guess. But that's a high level of thinking for when people still rode horses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it was still like
Grand Theft Auto.
It was still considered
the
Grand
bastard
Theft.
stole my horse. That's Grand Theft Auto, son. I'm sure.
Exactly. Busted.
Wasted. But nah. But I mean, laws are whack. And that's why hopefully I can get my law degree and
it'd be
shift some of that.
It'd be nice if it was easy to figure out what laws there actually are.
Yeah.
Depending on your geographical location.
Good luck. You have your best chance in America, and even then, good luck.
Yeah.
Like if you go to China, you could fucking sneeze and probably go to prison.
Oh yeah, I mean, goddamn. Have you seen the newest South Park episodes?
No, but I know their premise, and I fucking love it.
It's hilarious. I love that they're just shitting
straight
on
up.
China.
Chinese government's like, ah ha ha, yeah, South Park funny. Oh, they make fun of us? Not funny. Cancer.
Yep.
And then South Park shits on them continually, and China's like, anger. We China government, not act fine.
Yeah, it's so funny. I love.
And then didn't you hear that they shit on LeBron in a late episode too after the NBA came out in support of communism?
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, the NBA didn't directly say that. Don't get me wrong, but like the actions they're taking, they're supporting communism.
Yeah, I love how they're just like. I love how South Park is just like they had their 300th episode ever and they just shit on China the whole time.
That's a very South Park thing to do. I mean, they don't give a fuck. They see something, they call it out. I love it. Like the only thing holding them back is the FCC, I think.
Probably.
And even then, they're just like free speech, bitch.
Yeah. You can't deny my right to free speech.
Yeah, it's not harming. It's not initiating violence or instigating violence. That's the proper term. Yeah. It's straight up free speech.
Yeah, they're not saying anyone needs to be hurt because of this or anything. They're
just saying this is horseshit. They're
stupid.
Like, hey, fuck you, China. This is horseshit. And China's shitting the bed. And so is the Blizzard Game Company because they keep banning their Hearthstone players.
That was a shitty thing.
Like, I had this argument with a teammate. Like, there's nothing wrong with. Like, if you work for a company or, like, you're a tournament player for Blizzard, like, there's nothing wrong with them saying, hey, no political speech if you're going to run our tournaments. That's fine. But the way Blizzard has done it, anything against China, you're banned. But you can literally say anything else, and you're fine. It's just their problem is they don't want to lose their money from China. That's
Yeah,
half their
because-
Overwatch
yeah,
player
because-
base.
And Blizzard, you know, like
But they have
StarCraft.
Yeah.
Jesus, that took me a while to get out. StarCraft, like it's
China.
all Chinese people.
It's
playing
China.
that game.
They're just worried about their paycheck at the end of the day, just like the NBA.
All they care about is
They know that if the NBA loses China, they're gonna get a significant budget cut. And these players, their wallets are gonna hurt.
yeah.
You know, they're a couple $1 million homes. They're $50 million. I play sports and $50 million a year isn't enough. Fuck you. You're doing what you're passionate about at a higher paycheck than most people might make in their lives.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah. So, for these last 10 minutes, let's disregard the political. Let's get out of the political venue here and go back into cars.
Yeah, cars. Something China will never be part of.
All right, let's talk about the Evo 9. So I saw an article the other day about the Evo 9. There's an Evo 9 that is going up for sale on Bring a Trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 9,800 mile 2006 Evo 9 MR.
Ooh, okay.
They're like, it's gonna set a record, and it probably will. I just don't understand the whole fanboying thing about it. It's like,
they canceled
yes,
Evo.
it's a great car, and it's not being made anymore. It's hard to find. I understand it being expensive.
Supply and demand, that's just right there. That's basic economics.
Yeah, like the Mark IV Supra.
Oh god.
Or the,
You're lucky to get your hands on one of those for less
or
than
the
$20,000.
R34 Skyline.
Mark, I can really get so hard.
I was saying it ironically, and you just made it real. That's not okay.
Hey man,
In my
a Skyline's
podcast,
a Skyline. They're fucking lit.
In my podcast, okay. But anyway, the whole fanboying thing over like it, and just inflating the prices to like $1 million. You know it's not actually worth that much. It would never be appraised as worth that much.
Its
but
intrinsic
people will
value as
buy
it is
that much.
probably $40,000. Right?
Yeah,
just as it is
probably.
mechanically, physically.
like maybe.
It's the subjective. Like objectively, it's worth X amount flat. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. But subjectively, these Evo nerds, like I'm not hating on Evo boys. I love Evos myself, but like
Probably
an
better than
Evo's not worth
STIs.
more than $100,000. Yeah, same with STI boys. I mean, they're always at each other's throats like, "Oh, Evo's better. Fuck you. No, Subaru's better. Fuck you." And they go play their fucking rally games and shit on each other with their high scores, or they fucking like go to actual autocross events and they're at each other's throats.
Yeah,
But, like-
well, I've actually never seen actual beef between an Evo and an
Well,
an
like
STI
in the
at
back
an
of the mind,
autocross
it's like,
event.
"Oh, an Evo's here. I have to kick its ass on the leaderboard. XD Evo
I've
now."
never seen someone act that way. Like,
Well, yeah,
never.
We're not sports fans. We're civilized people.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're not. Some of us are sports fans, but like, we're not like gonna punch you in the face because you're a Raiders fan. I've seen that shit happen.
Wow, that's
Dude, sports fans are like boomers that watch sports. They care too much. They yell
Back
at
to the
players for not being fast enough or getting hit. And
back to the boomers.
I mean,
Can that be our like?
back to the boomers. The segue where we complain about old people.
It's just like it's just the Back to the Future thing with
Back to the boomers.
We gotta
But
go
no, I mean,
back,
like-
Marty. Gotta go back.
Like I was playing a game
God,
at Rainbow
what?
Six Siege, and like I was getting a little heated. I'm like, "Oh, come on, man, let's go." And my dad's like, "Why are you yelling at a video game?" I'm like, "Why do you yell when the Denver Broncos play?" He's like, "Because that's real." I'm like, "Yeah, this is real too." I mean, like my dad gets mad at me when I watch Pro League, and I'm like, he's like, "Why are you watching a video game?" I'm like, "Why are you watching the sport?" He's like, "It's different." I'm like, "It's really not. You're watching someone do a thing that you don't do
Yeah.
for
I mean,
entertainment."
I mean, I think boomers just consider like people who play video games to be inherently lazy, and so they don't consider it an actual sport when you talk about like esports and stuff.
Well, that's why they're called esports.
Yeah, but I think they just consider gamers to be inherently lazy when in actuality gamers can be very, very like driven people.
Mm-hmm.
Like pro gamers can be
It takes a very
driven people.
very certain combination of like drive and some spatial awareness. And one of Gardner's theories of intelligences is spatial and bodily kinesthetic movement, which like pro FPS players, like Rainbow Six Siege players and Call of Duty players, they have amazing 2D aim sense bodily kinesthetic movement. And just spatial awareness. It's just no boomer's ever gonna come out and say like, wow, that's actually pretty damn impressive. They're gonna say, video games are for lazy motherfuckers. Get off your ass to get a real job. And they're sitting there yelling at a quarterback for throwing a pass a yard over a guy's head. Something they probably couldn't do in their life if they tried. But
Yeah,
anyway, Evo 9. What the fuck?
So the Evo, I mean, Evo 9s are probably my favorite Evo.
I just wish they were still manual. Because weren't they all automatic? Most of them?
There were some of them with DSGs, but I'm pretty sure they were still had a manual gearbox. Pretty sure some of them still had an actual like row shifter manual gearbox. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. No, because doesn't Mighty Car Mod's Marty have a
He has
Evo
an
9?
Evo 9, but it's an automatic.
No,
Yeah,
I thought it was a manual.
it's an automatic. They had that whole shootout a year ago. Yeah, it was an automatic.
No, that was his Evo 10.
Was it?
Yeah, now he has a different Evo 9.
Oh, fuck me. I'm behind the times.
Yeah. Gosh.
Hey, man, I'm sorry I don't live and breathe Mighty Car Mods. As much as I love Mighty Car Mods, I can only watch them off and on.
Yeah, I've honestly, like, I used to watch so much YouTube, and I just, like don't
my
watch
YouTube
that
channel
much
now
anymore.
is a lot of Rainbow Six Siege content, a lot of Kitchen Nightmares and Hotel Hell, because when I'm sad, I watch Gordon Ramsay yell at people to feel better about myself. That's all my YouTube is. Like I haven't watched a Cletus McFarlane video in almost a year.
Yeah,
because they're long form, they're really repetitive. As much as I love Cletus McFarlane and everything he does, I think he's a fucking legend.
I can kind of watch him for a little while. I don't actually watch him though. I generally just put his videos on as background noise and to listen to like cars go vroom.
Let her rip tater chip, bud. Do it for Dale.
I like to listen to just their cars like start up, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice.
Oh yeah, Leroy, one of the coolest builds I've seen in the last 5 years. Like, that's fucking badass. Ruby,
I started watching Ruby videos. That was like my introduction to Cletus McFarlane, just because it was like at first it was just Ruby was just like a budget like track car,
and then they're like, let's throw a turbo on it.
Well, the turbo, like, it was still kind of a budget build at that point because they still had a 4.8 small block and they just like fucked around. But now, like, it's not. The Ruby is like an actual race car now, where they actually put a lot of money into it. It's like,
putting money in a car. I mean, Evo 9.
There's nothing wrong with putting money.
Oh, not at all. But like, that's probably the reason half these fanboys are freaking out about this Evo 9. I'll bet you they just like, oh, I could put $50,000 worth of upgrades into this. It'd be a rally monster, be a street killer, and like they just start creaming in their jeans.
Just buy a rallycross supercar for Christ's sake. It's gonna be faster anyway.
Yeah, dude, just go buy an Audi Quattro.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do what you want, but don't buy an Audi, please.
Hey.
For the love of Christ.
Hey. Fuck you.
Audis are fucking awful.
Why? What's wrong with Audis? Tell us what's wrong with an Audi.
Maintenance costs. Maintenance costs. Boys and girls, if you ever...
Subarus have high maintenance costs too.
Yeah, not as high.
Still high. Higher than a Honda. No, Hondas are still actually kind of expensive. Any
Hondas
foreign car is relatively expensive.
Hondas are pretty cheap.
I don't know.
Hondas are pretty cheap if you buy like shitty aftermarket parts.
Okay, well, yeah, but like to get my dad has a 2006 Honda Accord. It still cost him $60 to get his oil changed.
Well, that's just because he went to a shop.
Well, that's because my dad's car illiterate.
Yes.
No one in my family is car literate. I'm as close as it gets, and I'm not even that good.
An oil change, if you do it yourself, should only ever cost
the cost
like
of the oil.
$25.
Yeah. But if you're
and I've done it for less with new filters and everything.
If you're a special kind of boomer who doesn't know about cars, like my dad, and you go to shops, it's gonna run you a lot of money. Like he doesn't.
$60 for an oil change is fucking ridiculous.
I mean,
and I used to work at a shop that did $60 for a lube oil filter, and it makes sense when you're an actual mechanic shop, like when you have other stuff to
labor
do,
cost, etc., time.
Yeah, so like what you're gonna do when you change the oil. You drive it in, and that stall is taken at that point. It's taken. Because you can't do anything else except for get that car off that lift. And then you drain the oil. That takes a few minutes. Check all the fluids other than the engine oil. That takes a few minutes. And then take the...
Keep going.
And and then you have to change the filter, put oil back in, run it, check the oil level, make sure everything's good. That takes a little bit of time. And, you know, I don't know how places like Einstein's make money with a $20 oil change. I know there's something going on behind the scenes there that, like,
It's like a mattress.
I've seen places that do scan. Like, I know there are places. I don't know if Einstein's is one of them. I'd say they probably are, just based on their prices, because there's no way they make money off that.
I mean, I have a little bit. I have it out for Einstein's a little bit. I mean, I put in an application there. Like, I had no experience, but I'm like, it's an Einstein's. It's opening in a month.
And they pay $14 an hour.
They didn't even give me a call back.
Jesus.
I didn't even I just went in there, handed my resume, and like, hey, how y'all doing? I'm like, oh yeah, we'll take a look at this. Same with Jiffy Lube. Like, those bastards didn't even give me a call back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
for an industry that's relying off a trade school, and these boomers are telling everyone not to go to trade school, you'd think they'd be a little more open to walk-in applications.
Yeah. I don't know why it's so hard. The only reason that I got a job at a shop that was like an actual shop is just because I knew my boss, and that was like super helpful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to work in an actual mechanic shop, and I wouldn't have been able to, you know, have one of the best experiences of my life. I still think that's the best work experience I've ever had.
You know, like working with your hands, like straight up the most fun you can have at work.
Yeah, well, and like I learned a ton about like different cars and like how to perform maintenance on them, and just like general procedures for figuring like issues out. It's like a great experience. But yeah, it's guys, if you get the chance to work at like an actual mechanic shop with actual mechanics who know what they're doing,
take it.
Yeah, definitely take it.
You will enjoy it.
If you find out that like they're scamming people, you know, just don't work there.
Leave.
You don't
blow
necessarily
the whistle if you want to, but
you don't necessarily have to be a whistleblower and like, you know, fuck people over, but
unless you know it's worth not fucking over everybody else.
Yeah. Anyway, that'll do it for today's episode, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Tune in next week, same time, same channel.
Same time. We don't upload this live. Stink. Soon.
See you later, retards.
Bye.